Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Viking Arms. Sorry, I've just noticed on the camera, I'm looking, I think, a little pasty and red-eyed and a bit ill, actually. I'm absolutely fine. We've just taken the dog for a walk, but I think that's absolutely done me in for the day now. So, no, I'm not ill. I'm absolutely fine. So yeah, here we go. We're back in. So who's first through the door this week? I've got quite a few of you barreling through to try and get to the bar first. So let's see who we've got. Let us know. Les Quizrablers, you're back in the game. Yeah, the Slovakovskis are here. Good to have you back. Keep telling us who we've got. I've got 36 teams playing at the moment, apparently. The Scots are here. Who else have we got? Scots checking in. Scots are present. I know that there's some people watching who aren't, I think, logged into YouTube, so you might just be watching. So if you can't sort of tell us who you are or where you are, then you're very welcome, of course. The Callets are here, the Breretons are here, the Milburns are in, the Rondells are back. Actually, just made me think, we've got the Rondells and the Scots. Big congratulations to you two this week, because you've been announced as head chapel warden and deputy head chapel warden for next year. So good to have you on board. The Ashes are back. The Blomfields are here. The Briggs, the Briggs, Reverend Briggs, my apologies. The Briggs is here. The Glyphs are here. David and Joan Brenton. David, Joan, didn't we say, look, people were forecasting that when the Brentons left, things would really go to pot. Things have gone slightly awry since you went. It came true. The Allens are here, the Hunts and Humphreys are here, the Mullet Gang is back, the Fishers are here, the Weatherstones are here. So people all checking in. We've got loads of people all clambering to come along. So where are we at here? I can't believe another week has flown by already. This is this is quiz number 7. So yeah, quite astonishing that the speed that time's just flying at the moment. Things that have been going well for us this week. I've been thinking of Mr. Brown's 3 good things. We've got, I think, the weather's certainly getting better, thankfully, for the weekend. Mrs. Settle, who's here, my lovely producer, Mrs. Settle, who's working on the comments, made an amazing curry from scratch this evening. It was absolutely wonderful. Wilson, who I'm sure will make an involuntary appearance. He's quite independent these days. He'll just leap up and say hello, but he's certainly getting bigger and he's biting harder. The McPhees are here. The Bonanza are here, the Cordells, the Durkoops from Switzerland, the Holgates are here. The Farquhars are here, the Angels are here, the Manly Wars, people, and the Houghtons are here. People still turning up. So I'll just waffle on for a little bit longer before we start the quiz. So again, thank you for joining us in week 7 of this. And of course, if you're new to the quiz this evening, you're very, very welcome. And it's really nice that we've got new Vikings, current Vikings, and old Vikings joining us. The feedback that we get, I've heard that we've got lots of grandparents joining us. We've got aunts joining us, uncles joining us. You've got friends, neighbours all joining in. So you're all very, very welcome. We're both feeling quite sort of famous today. We found more fame in the Henley Standard. We both had our picture in the Henley Standard for doing stuff in the village. So that sort of made our day. That was a 4th good thing, I suppose. Oh, hello, who's this? Oh, there he is. And there's Wilson. There we go. Look how big the boy's got. Look, that's a 3-hander there. Poor little fella's got to go to the vets tomorrow morning. He was going to have his vaccines, but he's been a bit poorly over the last few days. So yeah, he's off to see the veterinary tomorrow morning. We'll get him sorted out. Big special shout outs this evening to really massive special thank you to Patrick Moore, because he has very generously supplied us with a geography round this evening, and also a massive happy birthday to Laura Passmore, who turns 17, a very loyal customer at the Viking Arms. She turns 17 today, and I mentioned her last week, but Juliet, happy birthday for Tuesday as well. Other big things going on. So Jacob Kirby, he's now halfway through his 100 kilometers a day challenge during May, and he's raising money for the NHS. So he's halfway there. and not showing any signs of fatigue either. He's doing incredibly well. I also want to say a special hello to Finbar Bevan, who I think is joining us for the first time this evening. Not many of you might know Finbar, but he's working like an absolute Trojan in the bursary at the moment. And of course, we've got Mrs. Green, who's joining us again, because, and a big special shout out for her, because everything that you get from the college basically comes from Mrs. Green. And speaking to her earlier, I think she needs a good trip to the Viking Arms. So you're very welcome, Mrs. Green, and we're happy to have you all here. Mrs. Settle is pointing out from Robert Johnston, hi everyone, our first family quiz. Okay, you're very welcome too. The Rappelmores are here, Dr. Drosario's here, the Peaches are here, sorry, the Peaches, my sister's here with her friend, I think, and keep the comments clean, Angela. The Browns are here, and quite agree, Mrs. Green is fab. The Harpers are back, the LeBeaus are here, the Gardeners are here, the Coltuses are here, who have I left out? The Lockwoods. Right,
basically everyone is here.
We've got over 80 teams, so I think let's get on with it. So the rules, if you are new, I'll be very quick. So there are 4 rounds. There is 11 questions in each round. And the 11th question is just a chance for you to have a bit of a chat and also have a chat with us as well. We'll give out the answers at the end. So there'll be a grand total out of 80. Just write down the comments, write down the answers to yourself. Don't answer in the comments so that people can't see what you're saying. And I'll try and read each question out twice. Try not to cheat. Enjoy yourselves, and do talk to us in the comments box. But as I'm sure you're all shouting at the screen, please keep it clean because it's a family show. A few more teams are back in. We've got Danielle's here, my niece.
Got a few new starters as well. People
yeah, a few new starters.
In year 9. So
the Missionis, Maxim Fairhurst, so you're very welcome. The McCarthys are here. The Broomfields. Yeah, some new stuff. Brilliant. Okay, well, we're going to make a start. And as we do always, the first round is general knowledge. So here we go. So question 1. Rigatoni, linguine, and fusilli are all types of what?
Oh, we're starting easy.
We're starting very easy. I think my aim is to try and get the average of the scores up in the 60s. So some of you feel a bit challenged, but not too challenged. Rigatoni, linguine, and fusilli are all types of what? Question number 2. Which London landmark is 310 meters high? Which London landmark is 310 meters high? Now, the Slovakovskis, what have you been told about putting answers? Putting answers in the comments box is one thing. Putting daft answers is quite another. So behave yourselves. Question number 3. Which book begins, "It was a bright cold day in April and the clocks were striking 13"? Which book begins, "It was a bright cold day in April and the clocks were striking 13"? Question number 4. If you are a loiner, you're a citizen of which English city? If you are a loiner, you are a citizen of which English city? So all these new joiners who I've just noticed are playing with this tonight. Mrs. Passmore, the registrar, she's saying hello to you as well. So you've already got people that you know at the college. So you will be very welcome come September. Mr. Brenton, spell it. No, IT. There you go. Ha. Mr. Brenton, get some manners. Question number 5. How old is Elizabeth II? How old is Queen Elizabeth II?
A bit familiar, not saying Queen at the beginning.
Yeah, I tried
just Elizabeth.
I tried to correct it. I know. I'm a big fan of her, Queen. I really am.
We know.
You know? How old is Queen Elizabeth II?
That's better.
There's also a few people who are really happy to see David and Joan joining us again this evening as well. We miss you, the Brentons. Question number 6. Who wrote the Jungle Book? Who wrote the Jungle Book? So again, this is a pretty easy round, I think, so far. Question number 7. What is the most poisonous creature on Earth? Not who. What is the most poisonous creature on Earth? I have to say that because I dare say there's probably couples playing along this evening, peering at each other, being tempted to put their partner's name down. But
you looking at me?
Not in this house.
Don't look at me.
Not in this house.
And it's not the pink.
Not poisonous in the slightest. Question number 8. You're very welcome, the Youngs. I'm not rereading the first 7 questions though, so we'll just take a guess at what you would have got. Question number 8. Benedict and Beatrice are characters in which Shakespearean play? Benedict and Beatrice are characters in which Shakespearean play? The Mallinses are joining us as well this evening, and Mr. Mallins has gone very corporate this evening with a Crossfields team, Crossfields logo for his little icon there. And I hope your Crossfields quizzes are going well as well, Mr. Mallins. Question number 9. Legend says which king is buried beneath the ruins of Reading Abbey? Legend has it that which king is buried beneath the ruins of Reading Abbey? So you might remember that was a couple of years ago they dug up Richard III in a car park in Leicester. So who is our version of Richard III? Who is the king buried under Reading Abbey, apparently? And question number 10. Sticking with the Reading theme, which famous playwright was incarcerated next door at Reading Gaol for gross indecency? So which famous playwright was incarcerated next door at Reading Gaol for gross indecency? Okay, so hopefully probably went through that quite quick. Tell me if I'm going too fast. Well, I'm sure you will. People don't normally hold back in this, do they? So we're going to go on to question number 11, so you have a bit of a chance to catch up with yourselves. According to the Woodland Trust, what are the 10 most common trees that you will find in the UK? According to the Woodland Trust, what are the 10 most common trees that you will find in the UK?
Tall ones, leafy ones.
I need to look.
Shorter ones.
Needs a bit more specificity than that. I want a name of a tree. I want a name of 10. I want 10 names of 10 trees. And bushy, but no, not bushy bushes, Mr. Sharp.
Actual trees.
Actual trees. The Shakespeare one again. Benedict and Beatrice. Which play was that? So whilst you're trying to think of your trees,
phrases I never thought I'd hear you
whilst
say.
You're having a think of your trees there. So what are you doing this evening? We know that quite a few of you really like to make your evenings at the Viking Arms a little bit more special. So how are you making it special? Maybe what are you doing this weekend? We've got nice weather this weekend. So how are you having a more relaxed, how are you spending the weekend? Now we've got a bit more of a relaxed lockdown. We were thinking we might go to Henley this weekend and have a coffee, maybe at one of a takeaway at one of the many coffee shops. We were tempted by the garden centre, but that might have to wait. So what are you up to? The Harpers, shout out please to Janny and Heather, mum and auntie, who love the quiz and are self-isolating in an eye of a bubble. Okay, so you're very welcome joining us, Janny and Heather. Eddie's going to be training. Yes, Eddie, I'll be in touch with you later about that. Gin and tonic on the beach. So my sister lives in a house which is right basically on the beach down in Kent. So she just has to step outside her front door and she's able to have a drink on the beach. It's very nice. What was the garden centre like, Mr. Brown? Was it worth it?
Oh, the fishes are going paddleboarding.
Oh,
jealous.
It is nice when I presume at Shiplake. It's lovely down there to do that. We've made homemade super deluxe pizzas and cooked them on the barbecue. And thanks again, Mrs. Coltes, for sorting out my my year 11s yesterday for their exam. They all did really well. Don't know if you helped them out at all. And
Austin's changing the petrol tank.
Oh, right, okay. Austin's changing the petrol tank. Yeah,
that's quite a big job, Austin. But good luck.
Yeah. Well, why not? What else are you going to do?
You've got all day.
You've got all weekend. So we've got a couple of nice ideas coming through there for how you're spending the weekend. As I say, I'm not sure. We're just sport for choice. There's so many things that we could do this weekend.
Stay in. Go for a walk.
I'm tempted. I think a coffee in Henley. Walk down by the river.
Imagine there are blue and white stripy tents there.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Okay, let's crack on. And well done, Leo. Rocky Road. Oh, there's more. They're all coming in now. The McCarthys, you're going walking in the New Forest. Wow, lovely. Playing tennis and golf with the Houghtons.
Not at the same time.
Golf for the LeBeaus. Rowing. You're allowed to go rowing, the Durkoops. You're allowed to do it again for the first time in 10 weeks. Oh, wow. There'll be a lot of very, very jealous people watching that. Not Mr. Brown, obviously, but very, very jealous people for that one. And oh yes, thank you for the prompt, Eddie. He says he's going to be practicing his cake making for the Not Nat Schools. So if you haven't read about it in the school bulletin already, we've got the Not Nat Schools competition next weekend, because obviously we would be at national schools and we'd hopefully be cleaning up at national schools next weekend, but we can't. So all the details on the Not Nat Schools competition are on the bulletin that went out today. Okay, anyway, stop waffling. Round 2. So we've called this round colours. This is all about colours. So there's a clue for you. Number 1, in the colours of the rainbow, which colour sits between yellow and blue?
I've got visions of everyone now doing the rhyme in their heads.
Yeah. Well, there's the mnemonic, of course. Mr. Brenton would be all over this one. In the colours of the rainbow, which colour sits between yellow and blue? Question number 2. The Indian flag is made up of 3 coloured stripes. What are they? I need 3 answers. You need all 3. We don't give thirds of points in this game.
It's too complicated.
It's not like when you do a race and you get a medal for turning up. Okay, you need 3 colours in order to earn your point. So the Indian flag is made up of 3 coloured stripes. What are they? Question that Mr. Brenton says, of course. Now, Mr. Wiesenberg.
Is that actually?
It's actually
Carl,
lovely.
amazing.
It's lovely to have Mr. Wiesenberg along, but don't make mistakes of putting answers in the comments. Question number 3. What coloured jersey would you win if you were the best young rider in the Tour de France? What coloured jersey would you win if you were the best young rider in the Tour de France? And genuinely, it is really nice to have Carl Wiesen, but apart from putting answers in the comments, which you shouldn't do, Carl, it is really nice to have Carl along. Carl lives in Hanover. He left us 2 years ago. So he's in effectively year 13 now. Top boy. Question number 4. What is the most popular colour for the newly registered cars in the UK? What is the most popular colour for newly registered cars in the UK? Wilson's eating my very expensive jacket just there.
He's not eating it.
Mrs. Settle, just
he's not eating it.
Might want to just get him off of that. It's just it looks like you're having great fun watching him eat my very expensive jacket, but you could just reach over and get him off of. Yeah, there we go. Where are we up to? Question number 5. Which colour links songs sung by the Beatles and Elton John? Which colour links songs sung by the Beatles and Elton John? Carl, I quite understand. You're coming from Germany and maybe the Durkoops, again, from Switzerland. What colour would you might associate with Britain most of the time? Just give you a clue. Question number 6. Which famous song begins with the line, The old hometown looks the same. Which famous song begins with the line, the old hometown looks the same? Mr. Brenton, it's like I knew you were joining us this evening. It's like I wrote that one for you.
Mr. Brown's now complaining about the clues. He says they're not good enough.
Not much of a clue. Okay. Where am I up to? Question number 7. Of all coloured diamonds, which one is the rarest? Of all coloured diamonds, which one is the rarest? Angie, you want me to sing it? No, it's not. It's quiz night at the Viking Arms, not karaoke night. Okay. Now, if you want karaoke night, that's some other time. Tonight's all about the quiz. Question number 8. What colour are the eggs laid by robins? What colour are the eggs laid by robins? And Carl, just for you as well, if you're still with us and still watching, do say hello to your parents. I remember we went to Munich some years ago and had a great time with Carl's dad in the Oktoberfest. It was a really good weekend.
You're now being asked when's karaoke night. We're not doing karaoke night as well.
We'll have a think about it. Question number 9. In Trooping the Colour, what is the colour? In the Trooping of the Colour, what is the colour? Don't know the colour of the egg, but we do know the colour of the baby robin, as our cat ate its head. It's probably very red then, wasn't it? And question number 10. What colour is a Himalayan poppy? What colour is a Himalayan poppy? And also, Carl, get Ben Grukow along here as well. It'd be good to have him on board.
Oh, yeah.
We've got loads of... We do really well for loads of old Vikings who are in Germany, and all really nice guys.
With lovely parents.
With really lovely parents. Speaking of which, hello, Mr. and Mrs. McPhee. I hope George and Ben are with you as well this evening. It's good to have you along. Did I tell people about the McPhees?
The McPhees.
Honestly, the McPhees are honestly one of my... I've been at Shiplake for 12 years. They are one of my favourite families. Just lovely, lovely people. And Tam and I, we went and had a coffee with the McPhees. Was it just before we got married?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Henley. Just superb. And hopefully we'll be able to do that again very soon, Tracy. Right. For question 11, this is a true or false round. Okay. So I'm going to give you some paint names, and you need to tell me, true or false, are they colours from Farrow and Ball? So you might know that Farrow and Ball produce some really weird and wonderful paint names. So all you need to tell me is if it is a Farrow and Ball paint colour, it's true, and if it's not, it's false. Okay, so the first one, skimmed milk white. True or false? Is that a Farrow and Ball paint name? Skimmed milk white.
You've got a 50-50 chance with these.
Part B, duck green. Duck green. It came out a bit wrong there.
Duck green.
Duck green. C is cyanide. Is that a genuine Farrow and Ball paint name? True or false? Part D, stony ground. Stony ground. E, drain pipe. Drain pipe. True if it's a colour, false if it's not. For F, we'll go butler's blue. Butler's blue. For G, dead salmon. Dead salmon for part G. For part, Mr. Passmore is in his...
So I think it's more Humphreys. But
You've got no idea how long it took to think of this question, so I'm really pleased. Where am I up to? Part H, brassica. Brassica. Part I, mouse's breath. Mouse's breath. And part J is pale hound. Pale hound. Okay, so again, true if it's a genuine colour, false if it's not. Okay. We aren't that posh. Well, no. Well, I've really kind of got thinking about it because I was like, we obviously have a Farrow and Ball in Henley on Thames, so we were inspired. What is Farrow and Ball, Mr. Brown? How long have you lived here? You've lived here longer than I have. How can you not know what Farrow and Ball is? If you talk to any of the parents locally, they'll tell you what Farrow and Ball is.
Mr. Brenton's not even sure what paint is, though, if you read the comments.
I bet he does, because I'm sure he's probably, what else have you been doing in your retirement, Mr. Brenton? That's probably all you've been doing, painting. Shout out to Pitcher and LeQuesne funeral directors. Okay, there you go. Right, we are going to move on to the third round. And the third round is all about geography. So, Mr. Malins, this one's all for you. Question number 1. Which country in the British Isles has the longest coastline? Which country in the British Isles has the longest coastline? And once again, massive thank you to Patrick Moore, who's given us this round of questions as well. Question number 2. Starting from Shiplake College, if you drilled straight down and continued all the way through the centre of the earth, to which sovereign country would you be closest when you emerged on the opposite side? It was a bit wordy, but
I love that question.
We got there in the end. Starting from Shiplake College, if you drilled straight down and continued all the way through the centre of the earth, to which sovereign country would you be closest when you emerged on the opposite side? Okay. And even if you're, let's say you're local to Shiplake, maybe you're in London, maybe you're in Kent, maybe you're, within a 100-mile radius, I'm sure the answer is the same. So wherever you're at, if you go straight down, which country are you going to end up in? Question number 3. At the closest point, what is the distance between the Russian Federation and the USA? Is it 51, 510, or 5,100 miles? At the closest point, what is the distance between Russia and the USA? Is it 51 miles, 510 miles, or 5,100 miles? Malins teaches history now. These are too hard. Eddie, come on. It's for lots of. It's a bit of something for everyone. So you never know, Eddie. The next one could be for you. Question number 4. Which is the world's smallest sovereign state? Which is the world's smallest sovereign state? And he's back. Should do a sort of Ernst Blofeld. What's that? Number 5. Above which city would you find Sugarloaf Mountain? Above which city would you find Sugarloaf Mountain? I do geography, but this is too much. What have you been doing in geography? I mean, I know people joke about all the colouring in, but it's not really. I mean, Mr. Settle's got a degree in it, but it can't be true, can it? Question number 6. In which European capital city would you find the Prado Museum? In which European capital city would you find the Prado Museum? Question 7. Yorkshire contains 4 shire counties. Going only by their names, which is the odd one out? Yorkshire contains 4 shire counties. Going only by their names, which is the odd one out? That is a hard question.
I got that one.
Yeah, we got it. I'm just saying that's a hard question. Don't judge yourselves too harshly if you can't do it. You know, it's.
To be fair, you didn't get it. You were reading them out to me, and I got it.
But I knew it before I read the question out to
Right,
you, my love.
Right.
So let's not get like this. Question 8. To within 10%, what is the population of California? God, that is a hard question. To within 10%, what is the population of California? To be fair, given the actual population of California, it's quite a generous margin of error. Okay, so I'll give you 5 million either way, probably, on that one. Right. Question 9. Which country lies to the north of Uzbekistan? Which country lies to the north of Uzbekistan? Jack's saying all the shops and restaurants have reopened in Jersey. Lucky you. Well, obviously stay safe if you're going out and about in Jersey then. And question 10. Which is the furthest north? Is it Rome, New York City, Beijing, or Madrid? Which is the furthest north? Rome, New York, Beijing, or Madrid? So a tough geography round. Some of you would have really enjoyed that. Some of you less so, but hopefully that's ticked some of your boxes at least. And question number 11 on the geography round. Taking the 4 letters of the word glam as your starting point, name 10 countries in mainland Africa that begin with any one of those letters. Okay, so taking the word glam, G-L-A-M, as your starting point, name 10 countries in mainland Africa that begin with any one of those letters. Mr. Moore says, you should note that there are several islands that begin with the letter M, for example, Madagascar, Mauritius, but these are not to be included in your 10. Okay, so mainland Africa only, countries, 10 countries beginning with G, L, A, or M. Okay, and whilst you're having a think about your glam Africa countries, I'm going to level with you. I need a little bit of advice. You need to cover your ears for a second, Mrs. Settle. So I understand, you know, as we've been doing this for quite a few weeks now, quite a few of you have been having lockdown birthdays, and it's Mrs. Settle's birthday next Sunday. So, I mean, I'm organised, obviously. I mean, I'm not reckless. I'm not cavalier. There's planning involved. It's all mostly sorted. But for those of you who have already enjoyed a lockdown birthday, and of course, Laura, it's your birthday today, what advice have you got for me to make Tam's lockdown birthday even better than it could otherwise be, I suppose? You can uncover your ears now.
Thank you.
So yeah, bit of advice in the comments box, please, whilst you're thinking of your glam Africa countries.
Well, obviously, I did hear a little bit. We will be doing the Not Nat Schools weekend.
Not National Schools weekend, yeah, Not Nat Schools. We will be all over that. I think, tell us a little bit more about the Not Nat Schools.
So we're very sad that we're not going to be at National Schools Regatta on the weekend of 23rd and 24th of May. So the Boat Club are organising a Not Nat Schools Regatta. You can either go out and do a 2-kilometre running relay. If you happen to have an ergo at home, you can do 2 kilometres on the ergo in a family relay. Or if you're more potentially my way inclined, you can bake a cake and send in photos. And there are prizes, there are medals. If you send in a fantastic photo of you with your family, there's a best crew photo competition as well. And we just wanted to do something to mark the weekend.
Cool. So again, all the details went out on the parent bulletin. I think it was either yesterday or today. And Shiplake Rowing have tweeted it as well. So do feel free to get involved. So a few nice ideas coming through. Not that many ideas. So I thought we had a more creative bunch here. But make a cake, I'm all over it, Jess, don't worry. Invite all the neighbourhood kids to play Happy Birthday in front of your house. Yeah,
I like that.
could do. Teach Tam hurling. Well, if she drinks enough.
I don't do that,
though. And Jessica, you had so many emojis in a comment. YouTube didn't like that. So the woods, we sculled on the river at Marlow today. Well, that's great.
Yay!
But why is that helping me for Tam's birthday next Sunday?
They can obviously do proper rowing for not nat schools.
Oh, I see, for not nat schools. Yeah, okay, fine. Well, all right, you can film yourselves racing on the actual river. Okay, let's move on. And before I move on to round 4, another special shout out. My brother's watching with his wife Heidi, and I presume my nephew Arthur. So very welcome along tonight as well to all you guys. So here we go, last round, round 4. And this one is all about sport. Number 1, how many hurdles are jumped in the 100-meter hurdle event? How many hurdles are jumped in the, or hurdled, is that right? Cleared, yeah. How many hurdles are cleared or jumped in the 100-meter hurdle event? Laura's friend organised a gorgeous montage video made by friends old and new, including a lad she befriended on holiday when she was 9. Oh, that's nice. Number 2, in netball, what is WA an abbreviation for?
Come on, a netball question.
Mr. Brown says, is it 110 metres? Surely. We did Google this, and apparently it's because it's a women's 100-metre hurdles, not the men's 110-metre hurdles. A few of you are all asking the same question, so I'm glad I could clear that one up for you. In netball, what is WA an abbreviation for? Question 3. Which famous footballer's real name is Edson Arantes do Nascimento?
I'm not sure if the actual pronunciation is right. Going with it.
In my finest English, which famous footballer's real name is Edson Arantes do Nascimento? If I could say it in a Portuguese accent, then that would be better. But, too much. Well done, Mr. Scott. Well done. Question number 4. The biathlon is a winter event combining which 2 events? The biathlon is a winter event combining which 2 events? No half marks. Remember the rules. 2 events, please. Which 2 events make up the winter biathlon? Question. Oh, I'll give you a minute to think. We're ahead of time anyway. Where are we up to? Question number 5. Where does the British Formula 1 Grand Prix take place? Where does the British Formula 1 Grand Prix take place? So I had to look there because Wilson's just falling off of his climbing frame. He's got a climbing frame. I promised we would never do this, but then Mrs. Brazil sort of offered us a free climbing frame. It was great big. He loves it. I'm not too sure. Question number 6. How many balls are there on a snooker table at the start of each frame? How many balls are there on a snooker table at the start of each frame? Miss Rappamore, what a way of asking. Is it me or is Mr. Settle going at the speed of light this evening? What do you want? Do you want everyone to rally round and sort of agree with you and sort of tell me to slow down? You could just say, do you mind slowing down a bit? But I am also conscious that Gogglebox is on at 9 o'clock and we've got to wrap this thing up. You know, we've got to wipe the surfaces down. We've got to clean the pumps and all that sort of stuff. You know, the Viking Arms doesn't just turn off when I click the button. Question number 7. In which sport would you find a spare and a turkey?
Well, now Mrs. Passmore's agreeing. I feel a coup is being staged.
Oh, here we go. The vocal ones. You need Wilson time. Well, actually, we haven't got. Will she do this?
She might do.
Come back here. Come on. Got it. Ready. Oh, there's a big girl. Come on. And here we've got the other member of the household there. Who's this? And this is Storm. So you can see where I was saying the other week, good girl. Yeah, I mean, Wilson was literally about the size of Storm's nose there. So we couldn't leave them in the same room together. Good girl, well done. Right. Now you maybe forget which question we're on. Question number 8. How many football teams did David Beckham play for in his career? How many football teams did David Beckham play for in his career? Storm, you're getting a lot of love. The comments are saying that Juliet says we love Storm. The Reverend says you're a very big cat. Mr. Brenton says you've got more hair than me. That's nice, isn't it? Honestly, I thought I knew you. Question number 9. Who was the most recent recipient of an England cricket cap? Who was the most recent recipient of an England cricket cap? All that excitement, Storm has now just passed out on the floor. I say passed out. She's resting. She can't cope with the evening walks now. And question number 10. In which sports do teams compete to win the Stanley Cup? In which sport do teams compete to win the Stanley Cup? Lots of people still asking. I'm starting to think people don't really come here for the questions. They just want to see the animals.
Literally, no one's writing anything down. We'll just wait for the cat to be shown.
Wilson is down there somewhere. He'll jump up in a second, I'm sure. He's just having a bit of a playtime.
Can we redo 8 and 9, please? Someone lost their internet.
Oh, well, all right, as it's you. You're a loyal customer. Number 8, how many football teams did David Beckham play for in his career? And question 9, who was the most recent recipient of an England cricket cap? Right, and the very last question, nice and simple to round things off. All we want you to do is, can you name the last 10 venues for the Olympic Summer Games? Not including Tokyo, because obviously it's not happened yet. So where were the last 10 venues for the Olympic Summer Games? You gonna come here? So where are you? Are you coming up? Come on in. So we spent a fortune when we got Wilson. We obviously went to the pet shop, bought loads and loads of toys, spent a fortune, and literally all he ever wants to play with is this thing. What's this? What's this then? What's this? All he ever wants to do is play with his little mouse. There he is. He's a clever boy.
He's going to be a sad boy tomorrow.
He's going to be a very sad boy when he goes to the vet. Okay. Sorry, what was question number 3? Question number 3, Jack. Which famous football? Oh, why have you asked me that one, Jack? Which famous footballer's real name is Edson Arantes do Nascimento? So whilst Mr. Brown keeps writing in the comments, so he's always going on about the 3 good things, which is obviously a very good thing to get involved in. So before we start to wrap up the quiz, give me, if you want to write something in the comments box, give me 1 good thing that has cheered you up this week. So don't give me 3. We haven't got all night. 1 good thing that has really cheered you up this week, and you can't include. I mean, I'm going to take it as read that obviously attending the Viking Arms quiz has got to be on your list. But give me 1 good thing that's really cheered you up this week. What 1 thing's really cheered you up this week?
My lovely friend Jessica sent me a little photo album of lovely photos of us from last year in happier times, and that really cheered me up when I was having a rubbish week.
It was photos of the hen party, wasn't it?
Photos of my hen party, photos from the wedding, photos from the walking netball tournament that we hosted at Ship Lake. Lovely photos. Made me really happy.
That had a big thumbs up, Jess. Rowing again, being back on the river. Team Zoom laughs with the admissions and bursary team, I guess. Alcohol, Mrs. White. The 3 good. Actually reading the hashtag Ship Lake 3 good things. Lowry's cookies. Going on a bike ride with me and Jacob. Oh, Eddie. being able to, not that we, obviously it wasn't a group, it was a socially very socially distant bike ride, Eddie. But Jack says being able to see people again and have a bit of normality. Fitting leadership, so they want question 7 again. Oh, right. Which sport do you get a spare and a turkey in? Mr. Brown went to the garden centre.
That's twice you've mentioned that now, Mr. Brown. I'm thinking that was a real highlight.
Either that or it sent him mad. The Carlsons, chocolate through the post. Happy song a day. The tennis courts being reopened for the Blomfields. Is that your own personal tennis court, or is that just public tennis courts? Mrs. Blomfield, I think actually you need to get on your WhatsApp group with the other governors and invite them along to the Viking Arms. It'd be quite good to have a few more. Rather than chatting about the weather on your WhatsApp groups for whatever committee it is you're on, get them along so they can join in the fun as well. Jessica's looking forward to her first Sainsbury's delivery in months. First lockdown takeaway. We've made a chocolate orange cake.
Good work, Megan.
Robert Johnston's trained the ferrets. Is that a euphemism? Running by the river when the sun was out. Playing tennis this week. Going to Aldi. What a treat.
Mr. Brown went to the garden centre again.
Yeah, going for a walk across Tower Bridge in the sunshine and down the river with a couple of cans. Oh, that's my niece for you.
Louise Rapplemore's birthday on Sunday.
That's
a good thing.
Yeah, happy massive. Well, it's not a massive birthday. Happy birthday, Louise, for Sunday. Hope you have a great day. There's lots of nice things coming up. Right. Anyway, that's enough of that. So let's crack on, shall we? So before I go through the answers, obviously, thank you very, very much for joining us again. And we hope that you've felt very much at home in the Viking Arms and that you've enjoyed yourselves. And we will, of course, be back next Friday. But let's now have a look at the answers. So I'll go through very quickly, Mrs. Rapplemore, so see if you can keep up. Question number 1. On general knowledge, rigatoni, linguine and fusilli are all types of pasta. Question number 2, the London landmark, which is 310 metres high, is the Shard. Which book begins, it was a cold day in April and the clocks were striking 13, was obviously 1984. If you are a loiner, apparently you are a citizen of Leeds. It's Leeds. Question number 5, how old is Queen Elizabeth II? She's 94. Question number 6, who wrote the Jungle Book? It was Rudyard Kipling. Question number 7, what is the most poisonous creature on Earth? It is the box jellyfish. Benedict and Beatrice are characters in Much Ado About Nothing. Question number 9, which king is said to be buried beneath the ruins of Reading Abbey? It is Henry I. So if you've written Henry, no dice. No.
As long as you didn't put Henry VIII, well, that would be very bad.
Henry I. I'll leave it to your consciences. And who was incarcerated next door at the Reading jail for gross indecency? That was Oscar Wilde. And the 10 most common trees, according to the Woodland Trust. You might say, we're doing quite a lot of these quizzes. Well, not a lot of these quizzes, but, we've been doing a few of these quizzes now. Trying to find a question of 10 things is getting harder. So here we go. They're not in order, all right? Or it's in sort of alphabetical order. So you've got alder, A-L-D-E-R, alder trees, beech trees, oak trees, hawthorn, hazel, holly, rowan, silver beech, give yourself beech, small-leaved lime trees, or just lime trees, and willow trees, or more specifically, the white willow trees. Okay, so they are the 10 most common trees. For the colours round, in the colours of the rainbow, which colour sits between yellow and blue? That is green. The Indian flag is made up of 3 coloured stripes. They are green, white, and orange. Damn cat, nibbling my heels. Question number 3, the Tour de France. If you are the best young rider at the Tour de France, you wear the white jersey, so it's white. Question number 4, The most popular colour for newly registered cars in the UK
This is so English.
is grey. Very grey. 20.9% of all new cars in the UK, grey. Which colour links songs by Beatles and Elton John? That is yellow. So what were they? Yellow Submarine and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Which famous song begins with the line, "The old hometown looks the same"? Obviously it doesn't go like that, but
Don't sing.
"The green, green grass of home." Of all coloured diamonds, which one is the rarest? In question 7, that is red. What colour are the eggs laid by robins? They are blue. In Trooping the Colour, what is the colour? It's a regimental flag, or just put flag, it's fine, but it's a regimental flag. And what colour is the Himalayan poppy? That is blue. Then we had which of these were true or false? So for the first one, skimmed milk white is true. For part B, duck green, that is also true. C, cyanide, that is false. It wasn't cyanide, they have arsenic. Arsenic's a colour, but not cyanide. For D, stony ground, that is true. E, drain pipe is false. They've got downpipe, but not drain pipe. F, Butler's blue is false.
I think it was Butler's green.
I think it might be Butler's green. G, dead salmon is true. H, brassica is true. I, mouse's breath is false. And J, pale hound is true. It's not mouse's breath, is it? It's an elephant's breath, I think.
And mouse's back.
And mouse's back.
I think.
Right. Geography round. And again, thank you very much, Mr. Moore, for providing this one. This was a tricky one, so let's see how you got on. Is your house decorated by a Pharaoh and Bull? No, it's decorated by me, and it is in white. Which country in the British Isles has the longest coastline? That is Scotland. Starting from Shiplake College, if you go straight down through the earth, you will end up in New Zealand. The closest point, Russia and the USA, are 51 miles across, and that's the Bering Strait. The smallest sovereign state is the Vatican City. Above which city would you find Sugarloaf Mountain? That was Rio de Janeiro. Question number 6, where would you find the Prado Museum? That is in Madrid. Yorkshire contains 4 shire counties. So they are North Yorkshire, South Yorkshire, West Yorkshire, and the odd one out is the East Riding of Yorkshire. Okay, so if you put East or East Riding of Yorkshire, then that's correct. To within 10% of the what is the population of California? Well, Patrick's put it's 39.5 million. So strictly speaking, you can have between 35.5 and 43.5. Let's say if you got anywhere between 35 and 45, have the point. Okay, so that's that one. I'm feeling generous. Question number 9: which country lies to the north of Uzbekistan? That is Kazakhstan. Which city was furthest north? Was it Rome, New York, Beijing, or Madrid? It is Rome. And taking the letters of the word glam, so mainland African countries beginning with G, L, A, or M, you could have, I'll do the G's, I'll do it in order of that. Okay, so G's, you could have Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, and Guinea-Bissau. The L's, you could have Lesotho, Liberia, and Libya. For the A's, you could have Algeria and Angola. And for the M's, you could have Malawi, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, or Mozambique. And Jack, for question number 5, it was Rio de Janeiro. Okay, so hopefully you all got those. And finally, in the sport round, in the women's 100-meter hurdle event, there are 10 hurdles. In netball, WA stands for wing attack. Which footballer's real name is that Portuguese Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Portuguese friends is how we say it. Portuguese. Go to Portuguese. It's Pele. Anyway, Pele. Much easier to say.
Much easier.
He did well changing his name to that. Biathlon is cross-country skiing and shooting. Cross-country skiing and shooting. My position. Your position, Mr. Brown? I don't know. Sedentary most of the time.
Mr. Brown is a demon on the netball court.
Oh, netball position. Oh, of course. Yeah. Where does the British Formula One Grand Prix take place? That's in Silverstone. How many balls are there on a snooker table at the start of each frame? There are 22. In which sport would you find a spare and a turkey? That is 10-pin bowling. How many football teams did David Beckham play for? It was 6. The most recent recipient of an England cricket cap was Captain Tom Moore, or Colonel Tom Moore. Question 10. What sport do teams compete in for the Stanley Cup? That is ice hockey. Jack, you really need to keep up here. So question number 2 was wing attack. And the last one was the previous 10 venues for the Olympic Summer Games. So I'll do it in order. So the most recent one was Rio. Then you had London, Beijing, Athens, Sydney, Atlanta, Barcelona, Seoul, Los Angeles, and Moscow. Okay, so whilst you are all frantically adding up your scores, and I'm sure you'll give us some scores to read out in the comments boxes, in the comments box once you've added it up. All that's left for me to say is obviously it's time to call last orders again at the Viking Arms. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves over the course of the next week, despite the restrictions being loosened. Do stay safe, be nice to each other, and let's have some scores. So the Breretons are first in. You've got 54. Who's going to beat that? Not the Houghtons. You're on 51. Danielle, I haven't got it in front of me, so just give yourself an extra point. The Scots are on 56. The Dirkoots leading the way on 58. Closely, that's been overtaken by Angie on 62. The Lockwoods on 61, the Woods on 53, the Kellets on 60, Reverend Briggs on 49, Fitting Leadership on 57, Mr. Bevan on 53, Dr. Tresario on 62, up there level with my sister Angie. The Milburns on 58, the Broomfields on 57, Rondell's on 49, Passmore's 59, the Bonans on We Did So Badly, oh dear. Karen C 56, the Fishers on 52, Baxter's on 49, the Ashes on 58. God, it's obviously a tough week this week. The McPhee's on 48. You're not getting worse.
The McPhee's.
You can't get worse. The McPhee's. You're awesome. The Missionis on 56. The Youngs on 41. A shocking 48. The Rappamores on 53. Mrs. Rapplemore's mother on 57, the Johnstons on 52, the LeBeaus on 53, Ben H on 55, the Weatherstones on 57, the Angels on 52. So I think it looks like if you got in the 50s this week, so 50s out of the 80 possible points, you've done all right. The 2 top scores that I've seen there are Dr. Tresario. Oh, you liar, Dr. Tresario. So actually, I think my sister might have won this. That can't happen, guys. So the Qualshi's on 50. I think I said that right. The Manly Wars were on 58. Can anyone beat 62? Because I think my sister might have done it. Honestly, it wasn't a fix. Barely even talked to her. You know, she's more of a hindrance than a help. So, right, okay. Well, I hope you've had a lovely time, and we will see you next Friday. So, just for you, Angie, get out of my pub.